Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm Fuad Maftukhan with study number 20530042. Now, I want to tell about the undergraduate thesis proposal with the qualitative research. The title of the research is an investigation of EFL student perspective of the Merdeka curriculum. Introduction. Background of the study. Focus. Does this Merdeka curriculum make students better in understanding learning specifically on English subject? According to the National Education Standard Agency, the definition of a Merdeka curriculum is learning curriculum that refers to an approach to talents and interests. In this curriculum, students can choose what subject they want to study according to their talent and interests. However, the problem factor that will be faced in implementing this curriculum are quite a lot, such as the educational environment that affects student learning motivation. Students who do not understand their interest or talent, which can result in inaccurate selection of subject for students and other factors that have a major impact, namely, starting the development of the work of technique that requires students and teachers to be more innovative, creative, and independent. According for Suryaman 2020, from this reason, the government needs a curriculum that can be a big change for the world of education. Locus. The Merdeka curriculum, which still have many constraints when applied to university level, so would also be problem when applied in high school or vocational high school. However, changing the curriculum at each change of the Minister of Education is a separate aspect that can trigger problem in the world of education. Currently, the government is flocking to socialize the learning Merdeka curriculum to all levels of education, and all students are given more motivation to learn by using this learning Merdeka curriculum. Modus. This research to find out how the Merdeka curriculum from the student perspective. Research question. How student perspective SMK Pembangunan Surabaya grade 10 of Merdeka curriculum. Objective of the study. This research aimed to refer how students at SMK Pembangunan Surabaya grade 10 understand the Merdeka curriculum. The significance of the study. The results of this study are expected to be useful for the first two students. The result of this study will motivate students to continue to develop their talents and interests and make them become innovative, creative, and independent character. To teachers, the result of this study will provide additional information to teachers about Merdeka curriculum, especially for teaching English subject. To the researcher, this can be used to improve his experience in teaching English by using Merdeka curriculum. Scope and limitation. Scope. The perception of SMK Pembangunan Surabaya student about the Merdeka curriculum, and the limitation of the perception of student SMK Pembangunan Surabaya grade 10 about the Merdeka curriculum on the material English subject. Literature review. Definition of EFL. EFL is the study of English by non-native speakers in countries where English is not the dominant language. This is not to be confused with English as a second language, also called English as an additional language, which is the practice of learning English in a predominantly English-speaking country. Definition of Merdeka curriculum. The Merdeka learning program that curriculum development must be carried out in response to development of science and technology, social needs, and stakeholder needs. Implementation of Merdeka curriculum. Vocational education is one of the key of aspects in strengthening economic development and its competitiveness in all countries, both developing and industrialized. Training systems are important elements of countries' economic development strategies in the context of optimizing human development. Indonesia, through SMK, seeks to development attitudes and work habits so that students can meet social, political, and economic demands. One of the main goals of SMK as a secondary education institution and formal education institution is to prepare students to enter the world of work by equipping a professional attitude and preparing middle-level workers to meet the demands of the business world and the industrial world so far. Times and in the future, vocational education is one of the key aspects in the strengthening economic development and competitiveness in all countries. According from Pertiwi and Puspitarini 2021, the vocational education and training system is an important element of the country's economic development strategy. Differences between Merdeka curriculum and 2013 curriculum. The first is basic framework, target competitions, curriculum structure, learning, rating, teaching tools provided by the government, curriculum tools. The advantages and disadvantages of the Merdeka curriculum. The advantages. The most striking advantages of implementing this curriculum is that there are certain projects that must be carried out by students so that they can become more active in their effort to explore themselves. In addition, this curriculum is also more interactive and relevant to the times. Disadvantages. Even so, the implementation of Merdeka curriculum cannot be separate from various shortcomings. For example, the preparation for the use of this curriculum is still considered immature. This can be seen from the lack of competence of human research to implement this curriculum. Previous study. The first is from Pertiwi A. K. and Pusparini R. The title of this research is Vocational High School English Teacher Perspective on Merdeka Belajar Curriculum on 2021. The result of data processing also show that the implementation of one-sheet RPP by the teachers has not met the expectation of Merdeka Learning or Merdeka Curriculum. There are several statements that are different from what the subject wrote on the questionnaire and during the interview, but overall, all participants fully support the implementation of Merdeka curriculum. And the second is Abu Aifah Z, Telegram app in learning English, AFL student perception, English language teaching, and 2019. The result revealed that the majority of EFL students perceive Telegram as a useful tool for English language learning, particularly in vocabulary learning. The findings of the present study may contribute to developing the process of improving learning technique in higher education in Saudi Arabia. Method. Approach. The approach that is used in this research is the phenomenological approach. Data and search of the data. Data. The statement taken from interview and the search of the data interview subject student SMK Pembangunan Surabaya grade 10. Technique of data collection. The first is interview method. The type of interview in this research is unstructured interview. According to Crosswell, 2009, unstructured interview is an interview that only contains a large line that the interviewers will ask. Thus, it is relevant to this research because the object of this research is the perspective of learning Merdeka curriculum for students. The second is observation method. The type of observation in this study is a passive participation observation method. According to Catlin 2011, passive participation observation is an observation in which a researcher only comes to school. Thus, this method is considered very relevant to this research because this research is the perspective of Merdeka curriculum learning for students. The last is documentation method. The documentation used in this research is image and written documentation. According to Sugiono 2012, documentation is a record an event that has passed that can take the form of writings, pictures, or monumental works of a person and also in the form of writings such as diaries, life histories, stories, biographies, regulation, and plays. Thus, this is considered very relevant to this research because the pictures of the implementation of research activity and the written data of the Merdeka learning policy will be very relevant data in this study because this research makes the perspective of students. Data analysis. The data analysis technique used in this research is thematic analysis. According to Brown and Clark, 2006, thematic analysis is a method for identifying, analyzing, and reporting patterns or themes within data. The several parts of the thematic analysis as used in the current research are described in the following Brown and Clark 2006. The first is data familiarization. This step involves transcribing the data, reading and rewriting the data, and noting down the initial ideas. Major ideas were highlighted and written down for each transcript. Second is generating initial code. Coding interesting features of the data in a systematic fashion across the entry dataset, collecting data relevant to each code. According from Brown and Clark 2006, while translating and transcribing, features were coded as a small process or keyword representing a specific idea. Memos were written down to keep track of the second of the considered information. The third is searching for themes across the data. According for Brown and Clark 2006, collecting codes into potential themes, gathering all data relevant to each potential theme. The data were read and reread, and the cycle was repeated several times to narrow down the number of codes and categorize them into identifiable themes. The codes were then analyzed and grouped into 4 central themes as stated in the next section. The fourth is reviewing themes. According from Brown and Clark 2006, checking if the themes work in relation to the coded extract at the first level and then the entry data set at the second level, generating a thematic map of the analysis. The complete interview data were reread to validate the code. Inbuilt tools its Maxda were used to see patterns within the data, and these were used to draw thematic maps. 5 is producing the report. The final analysis selection of vivid, compelling extract example. The final analysis of selected extract relating to the analyzed to their research question and literature, producing a scholarly report of the analysis. Several vital statements representing the data were extracted to showcase the resulting outcomes both as statements in the form of ideas and feelings, and visual representation are drawn using interconnections between codes. Thus, this research using thematic analysis and the statement given by SMK Pembangunan Surabaya Grade 10 Development can be identified, analyzed, and reported systematically. So that's all about my undergraduate thesis proposal. Thank you for your watching of this video. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.